Subscribe because it's free.
Crixar stood before the Galactic Council, his scales glinting dully under the chamber's harsh light, 1,000 worlds worth of power staring down at him. His voice rasped like gravel dragged across steel, each word heavy with decades of war. You've conquered stars, enslaved species, bent galaxies to your will. But I tell you now, Earth is different. I've faced their soldiers. I've seen what they can do. You must listen. His claws clicked against the podium, a nervous tick from battles long past, as he scanned the council's faces. Valerians with their shimmering hides, Corans pulsing with telepathic smugness, Tselkins towering like statues carved from obsidian. They ruled from this orbiting citadel, a jewel spun from a dying star's corpse, their arrogance as thick as the void outside. I was young then, he began, leading a strike force on a contested moon, a speck of rock not worth a name. We had plasma lances, gravitic shields, drones that could shred hulls in seconds. The humans? They had metal slugs and fire. Primitive, we thought. We dropped from orbit, expecting surrender. Instead, they charged. His eyes narrowed, lost in memory. No energy barriers, no psionic tricks, just flesh and fury. I lost half my unit in an hour. One of them, bleeding out, grinned at me, before he triggered a blast that took my lieutenant's head off. They don't fight like us. They don't break like us. The chamber buzzed with murmurs, but not a concern. Mockery rippled through the air. A Valerian delegate, scales flashing gold, leaned forward, his voice dripping with disdain. You speak of soft-bodied apes, Crixar, creatures without claws or minds worth fearing. What are they to us? We who've crushed the clitoran hives, who've tamed black holes for sport. Laughter followed, sharp and cutting, bouncing off the chamber's curved walls. A Coran counselor, her thoughts shimmering in the air like heat waves, added, "Your scars have clouded your judgment, old soldier. These humans are ants beneath our boots. We'll sweep them aside without a thought." Crixar's tail twitched, anger flaring in his chest, but he pressed on. "You don't understand. It's not their weapons. It's their will. I saw a human crawl through mud, guts spilling, just to jam a blade into my comrade's leg. Another took a plasma bolt to the chest and still fired back, screaming curses we couldn't translate. They don't need your tech. They have something else, something we've forgotten." He gripped the podium tighter, his voice rising. "I beg you, do not provoke them. Send diplomats, not warships. Study them before you strike, or you'll regret it." The Tselkin High Admiral snorted, a sound like stone grinding stone, his massive frame shifting in his seat. "Regret? From dirt dwellers? Our gravitic cannons could turn their planet to ash in a day. Our psionic drones would shatter their minds before they could blink. You're a relic, Crixar, clinging to a ghost story." The council nodded as one, their agreement a chorus of dismissal. The Valerian waved a clawed hand. "Enough. We've heard your tale. Earth will kneel or burn. There's no third path. Guards, remove him." Clawed hands seized Crixar's arms, dragging him back as he shouted, "You're blind. You'll doom us all." The chamber doors slammed shut behind him, muffling the council's laughter. Alone now, he stumbled into his quarters, a cramped cell barely fit for a warrior of his rank. He slumped against the wall, breath ragged, and pulled a small object from his pouch, a human dog tag, its edges chipped, its surface etched with a name he couldn't read. He turned it over in his claws, the metal cold against the scales, a relic from that blood-soaked moon. "They didn't listen then," he muttered, voice low. "And they won't now. But I remember. I saw those eyes, wild, unbroken, alive with something we've lost. The Empire thinks it's invincible, that its towers of steel and starfire can't fall. They're wrong." He traced the tag's letters, a shiver running through him. Humans don't just fight, they endure. They adapt. They hate, losing more than we hate dying. And when you push them, they push back harder. His gaze drifted to the viewport, where the galaxy sprawled in cold silence, Earth a distant speck among the stars. He closed his eyes, the memory of that grinning soldier flashing bright, teeth bared, blood streaking his face, a crude explosive clutched in his hand. "I tried," Crixar whispered. "I warned you. Whatever comes next, it's on your heads." The dog tag slipped from his grip, clattering to the floor, its faint ring echoing in the dark. Outside, the council plotted, smug and certain, oblivious of the storm they were about to unleash. Dust swirled around Sergeant Lena Voss as she hunched over the scanner in the Mars outpost, her cybernetic arm whirring faintly. The screen flickered, spitting out data from a deep space signal, an alien probe, its message loud and clear: submit to the Galactic Empire or be erased. Her squad crowded in, a mix of grizzled vets and wiry techs, their faces lit by the red glow of the Martian dusk. "They think we'll roll over," she said, voice sharp as a blade. "They don't know us." Private Chun, a lanky engineer with grease-stained hands, cracked a grin. "Let's send him a welcome card. Something with teeth." The probe's broadcast looped, all pomp and threats, claiming Earth system as the Empire's next prize. Lena's team didn't flinch. They fought raiders, survived dust storms, patched this base with spit and scrap. Aliens with fancy toys didn't scare them. "Give me a line into that thing," she ordered. Chun and a tech named Ruiz scrambled, jury-rigging a transmitter from old rover parts. Within hours, they hacked the probe, overriding its signal with a human reply. Lena's voice cold and steady. "Come and take it." The words echoed across the void, a dare thrown at the stars. Back on Earth, the message sparked chaos and unity in equal measure. Nations bickered, then banded together, a shaky coalition born of necessity. They dug up Cold War relics, nuclear warheads, rusting railguns, and fused them with scraps of alien tech scavenged from past skirmishes. In a Nevada bunker, a mechanic named Patel turned a mining laser into a ship killer, its beam cutting steel like butter. In a Siberian lab, a chemist cooked up a gas that ate through Empire alloys, grinning as it melted a test plate. Lena watched the feeds from Mars, her jaw tight. "We're not waiting for them to hit first." Days later, the Empire answered. A scout fleet, sleek and silver, dropping into orbit like hawks on prey. Their commander, a Tselkin named Vroth, hailed the planet, his voice booming through every comm. "Surrender now, primitives, or your world is dust." Lena's squad didn't blink. They'd prepped for this. Asteroid fields rigged with EMP mines, shuttles armed with salvage cannons, boarding teams with crowbars and grit. "Let's give 'em a taste," she said, strapping on her gear. The ambush hit fast. EMP blasts fried the fleet sensors, luring ships into a kill zone. Lena's shuttle rammed the frigate's hull, her team spilling out in patched suits, cutting through bulkheads with plasma torches. Inside, the Empire troops faltered, tall, clawed things in shimmering armor, expecting an easy rout. Humans didn't play by their rules. Chun lobbed a homemade grenade, its blast shredding a squad. Ruiz hacked a turret, turning it on its own ship. Lena drove a rebar spike through a soldier's chest plate, her cyber arm humming with power. "Keep moving," she barked, blood flecking her visor. The frigate's bridge fell in minutes, Vrotha's demands cut off mid-sentence as Lena's knife found his throat. Outside, the fleet reeled. Ships crashed into asteroids, outmaneuvered by junker craft piloted by humans who'd learned to fly in rust buckets. Vrotha's final transmission crackled through, a plea for reinforcements, but Lena's team jammed it with static and laughter. "Tell your bosses we're just getting started," she growled, kicking his corpse aside. The scout fleet limped away, half its ships burning wrecks, the rest fleeing in confusion. On Mars, Lena wiped sweat and blood from her face, staring at the horizon where an Empire cruiser smoldered against the red dirt. "They thought we'd kneel," she said, her squad gathering around her, breathless but unbroken. "Big mistake." Chun spat into the dust, hefting a salvaged alien rifle. "What's next, Sarge?" She grinned, a feral edge to it, her eyes locked on the stars. "We take the fight to them. They'll learn soon enough. Humans don't back down." The outpost hummed with activity, her team already stripping the wreckage, turning the Empire's own tech against it. Earth's defiance blazed bright, a signal to the galaxy. They'd underestimated the wrong species. The Galactic Empire struck back with fury, an armada of warships blotting out the stars above Earth. Krixar, dragged from his cell to advise, stood on the command deck, scales dull with dread. the High Admiral, a Tselkin named Koroth, sneer at the blue planet below. Primitives dared to defy us. Now they'll burn. Gravitic cannons roared, cities crumbling under beams that split mountains. Krixthar clenched his claws. "You're waking a beast," he hissed, but Koroth waved him off, ordering a full assault. From the ashes, humanity answered, not with surrender, but with salvage missiles arcing from hidden silos, slamming into Empire hulls with nuclear fire. On the ground, Lena Voss led a ragged force through the ruins. Soldiers in cracked armor, civilians with hunting rifles, kids clutching pipes. They want a war? They've got one, she growled, her cyber arm sparking as she hefted a railgun. The Empire's troops landed, towering figures with plasma rifles, expecting a rout. Instead, Lena's crew struck from shadows, ambushing in shattered streets, luring squads into traps. A farmer-turned-sniper picked off officers from a rooftop. A teen lobbed a Molotov, its flames chewing through alien armor. Lena's voice cut through the chaos. "Hit 'em where it hurts." They did. Supply lines torched. Drones hacked to crash into their own ranks. In space, human pilots and patched fighters danced through the Armada's barrage, outfoxing sleek Empire ships. Captain Ortiz, a grizzled ex-smuggler, led the charge, his voice crackling over comms. "Stay loose, hit hard." His squadron baited a destroyer into a debris field, then rammed it with a fuel tanker rigged to blow. The explosion lit the void, a beacon of defiance. Another fleet, cobbled from freighters and moonhoppers, charged the flagship, pilots screaming war cries as they plowed through its shields, hulls crumpling but taking the giant down. The Empire's rigid formations faltered, unready for chaos that laughed at their order. Aboard the command ship, Krixthar watched the screens, humans swarming like ants that bit back. "I told you," he said, voice low. "They don't stop." Korotha's eyes narrowed, his pride cracking. "Silence him," he snapped, but Krixthar pressed on. "You hit their homes, they fight harder. You kill their kin, they get angrier. Look," he pointed as a human frigate half ablaze rammed the cruiser, its crew broadcasting a final taunt. "See you in hell." Koroth snarled, slamming a fist on the console. "Deploy the psionics, break their minds." The Empire's drones hummed, unleashing waves of telepathic fear, enough to shatter most species. Humans staggered, noses bleeding, but didn't fold. Lena gritted her teeth, vision swimming, and shot a drone from the sky. "Not today," she spat, rallying her squad. Across the planet, others did the same. Soldiers sang defiance. Civilians cursed the invaders, their wills a wall the psionics couldn't pierce. Krixthar stared, awed. "It's their rage," he muttered. "You can't crush what's already broken and still standing." Koroth roared, ordering more ships, but the tide shifted. Human guerrilla strikes bled the Armada dry. Earth's skies burned red, cities reduced to rubble, yet humanity held. Lena planted a flag, a torn scrap of cloth. Amid the wreckage, her squad battered but alive. "We're still here," she said, voice hoarse, staring at the retreating Empire ships. Above, Ortiz's fighters chased the stragglers, their patched hulls glinting like knives. Krixthar, ignored now, watched the screens flicker with losses. "You should have listened," he whispered. The Armadas might unravel before human stubbornness. Raw, messy, unbreakable. Humanity's trump card fired from a lunar crater, a jagged scar of rock-turned fortress. Lena Voss stood at the controls, her cyber arm steady as she triggered the weapon. A monstrosity of reverse-engineered Empire tech, its core pulsing with scavenged power cells, its frame held together by welds and spite. "Light 'em up," she said, and the beam lands through space, a spear of white-hot fury that punched through the Armada's heart. The Empire's flagship erupted, a supernova debris, its escort scattering like startled prey. Lena's crew cheered, their voices raw, echoing across the moon's dust. The Empire's command unraveled. Krixthar, freed in the chaos, watched from a stolen shuttle as human hackers flooded the Armada's networks, taunts static, images of grinning skulls clogging every channel. "They're insane," a fleeing Tselkin pilot muttered, his ship limping away. "Insane maybe, but winning." Lena's lunar base launched salvage missiles, each one a middle finger to the stars, while Earth's ragtag fleet, freighters, fighters, anything that could fly, hounded survivors. A pilot named Ortiz rammed his burning craft into a dreadnought's bridge, cackling over open comms. Try that again, bastards. The Empire broke, ships fleeing in disarray, their rigid order no match for human chaos. On Earth, the Council's remnants broadcast surrender from their shattered citadel, voices trembling as they beg for mercy. Humanity didn't pause. Lena's squad stormed a grounded cruiser, tearing through its crew with knives and stolen rifles. "Mercy's off the table," she growled, kicking a Valerian officer down. The galaxy heard the message loud and clear. Earth wasn't just a survivor, it was a predator unleashed. Crixthar tapped into comms, his rasping voice cutting through. "I warned you. The Galactic Empire ignored me, and now you pay. These humans, they're not like us. They're more." His words hung, an epitaph for the fallen. The war's end left Earth scarred but standing. Lena walked through the rubble of a once thriving city, her boots crunching glass. Around her, humans rebuilt. Farmers sowed seeds in blast craters. Kids kicked alien scrap like soccer balls. A welder patched a wall with a salvaged hull plate. "We're still here," she said, planting a flag in the dirt, its colors faded but defiant. The Coalition sent a transmission to the stars, Lena's voice steady. "We're humanity. Deal with it." No plea, no compromise, just a fact, etched in blood and steel. The galaxy listened, awed and wary, whispers spreading of the species that toppled an empire with grit and guts. Crixthar drifted in his shuttle, a wanderer now. Earth ablued in his viewport. He held the old dog tag, its weight a reminder of that moon long ago. "I saw it then," he murmured. "Fragile bodies, unbreakable spirits. They fight not because they can, but because they must. And they win because they refuse to lose." He'd watched the Empire's towers crumble, its fleets burn, all from underestimating a species that turned weakness into a weapon. "What now?" he wondered aloud, staring at the stars. They've tasted victory. They'll reach for more. The galaxy shifted, its power tilting toward a planet once dismissed. Humans didn't gloat. They worked, they planned, their eyes already on the void. Lena stood with her squad, watching a shuttle lift off, its hull patched with Empire tech. "Next time, we won't wait for them to come," she said, a grin tugging her lips. The air buzzed with purpose. Tools clanged, voices rose, a species forged anew in war's fire. Crixthar's shuttle drifted on, his thoughts heavy. "A paradox," he whispered. "Soft flesh, hard hearts. The Empire's end is their beginning." The stars stretched out, vast and unclaimed, and humanity's story roared into the silence. Unfinished, unstoppable.